What up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you, as always, by Off the Record. We love Off the Record over here at Smoking Tire, and you guys do too. That's why you're always sending me emails telling me how Off the Record got you out of a little jam. If you get pulled over and ticketed or arrested for a moving violation, don't plead guilty. Get Off the Record. Go to offtherecord.com/TST to get 10% off all legal services booked through Off the Record. What Off the Record does is they will connect you to a qualified attorney in the jurisdiction where you got pulled over. They'll fight that ticket to get those points off your record, and if they don't succeed, you don't have to pay. It is very, very easy. Again, offtherecord.com/TST, offtherecord.com/TST. That'll get you 10% off all legal services at Off the Record. We love them. Don't plead guilty. Get Off the Record. On this program, Zach and I are back in studio. We are talking about our review of the film F1 with Brad Pitt without any spoilers, so you guys can listen to it and then go see the movie for yourself. Also, our review of Apple's CarPlay Ultra as tested in the Aston Martin DBX. We are talking a little bit about the Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro, and I have made a scientific breakthrough. It's the Smoking Tire Podcast. Let's go. It is, it's very inconvenient to everywhere. Laurel Canyon. Wow, can't believe people live up there.
It's like a racetrack though during commuting hours.
Oh yeah,
people are aggressive.
Yeah, I bet. Probably sucks to get in and out of there during commuting hours.
Yeah, but my last experience there was cool. I was driving the Ineos, and a 55-year-old woman on a Triumph passed and looked back at it and gave a thumbs up, and then she passed people over double yellow, like heading into the canyon. Yeah.
I was here before all you motherfuckers.
It's like Amelia Earhart's granddaughter or something.
It was like her and the mamas and the papas up there in the 60s.
Yeah.
I bought this fucking thing new.
Yeah, for $12,000.
Yeah. Hello. This is our show. This is what we do. We sit in this table and we talk. Hi. Welcome back. We had a lovely morning on the mountain this morning with the new 4Runner. But we're not going to talk about that now because we made a video of it and you're going to be able to watch the whole dang thing. All of it. Live and direct. And I put Zach camping, but I guess that's now gone sort of in the video, right? So we can just yoink. We can just yoink that and talk about something else. We've got CarPlay Ultra, but I did a little science first.
Okay.
I teased CarPlay Ultra by talking about my own science. On a recent episode, we've been talking about my mental health and panic attacks and such. And I've been, trying to have that happen less.
As one should.
As one does. And I have appointments with doctors and things lined up. But one, I got a letter from a fan that said that their mom is a psychotherapist and that he and his sibling both have panic attacks. And the psychotherapist's mother says when you're having a panic attack, your neurons are on one of those like a diesel, like an outrun diesel,
yeah.
like a runaway. It's like that. And so you got to fucking throw a stick in the spokes. You gotta get a hard stop. And so when I was driving and had panic attack and I called Hannah, that was a little bit that was putting my finger on the tire to slow it down, but it wasn't a stick in the spokes. Stick in the spokes is to bite into a lemon or a lime.
Interesting.
Hardcore citrus right to the fucking dome will do it.
Huh.
Or you do the old drop a couple ice cubes down the back.
Right.
Either of those, something that makes you go, whoa, apparently can sometimes, in the right circumstances, stop a panic attack by fucking throwing something into the neurons to be like, hey, go look at this.
Right, it draws all their focus.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So,
all right.
Do I walk around with a lemon now, just in case?
We should. Let's keep it in the camera case.
Little shot of lemon juice.
Yeah,
probably would do it. You probably don't need to do the bite, right? You think it has to be fresh?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know.
Well, if you try the juice, doesn't work. She goes, you need the lemon.
Yeah, you need
and
the
then you
whole
have the
thing.
lemon cut, and she goes, you can't cut it ahead of time. You got to cut it during.
So there's a little bit of science might need doing. In some other frustrating science news, a thing that I knew that I should not do is smoke sativa weed. It's for an anxious person.
Right.
That's the up weed. For those of you who don't know about weed, there's up weed and down weed. Down weed is the indica, up weed is the sativa. Sativa weed also contributes to like productivity, creativity. So if you were gonna write something or play some music, or if you wanted to clean the house or like that kind of shit, a little sativa weed. But you should probably not combine sativa weed with caffeine, even if you're a normal person. If you're an anxious person, you really shouldn't do that. And B, it's not great for this guy. Well, my friend, who's a very kind and generous person, gave me a bunch of weed, like 2 months ago. Don't need to say who it was, but it's a very kind and generous person. And I was like, indica? And he's like, indica. And he's like, just how you like it. And it was strong. But that's about when panic attacks started. Now, you maybe chalked it up to other things. But I saw the friend again, and he gave me some more. And I'm not selling it. He literally has a lot of it and is like, here. And I was like, okay. And that afternoon, I got a little panicky. Timing was coincidental. And I walked down to my local joint, and I said, I want the fucking hardest core OG Kush, put me in the couch indica that you've got. Definitive indica. Mm-hmm. And if you can tell, like usually sativa nuggets are like lighter and a little fluffier, and indica ones are like real dense. Like almost like a fucking toy pine cone, dense. And they're super sticky. So I got it and looked yep, that's the dense. And the stuff from my friend was pretty dense.
Oh, okay.
At least on the surface, it was pretty dense, but not like this dense. Okay, we're in the right direction. Guess what? 48 hours of switch from one to the other, feeling pretty calm.
Crisis averted.
Possible crisis averted. Not averted, but like definitely. And also because of my blood pressure, I'm taking my blood pressure 4 times a day. Last 48 hours, my blood pressure is 10 points lower also. So I think my friend doth know what he hath.
Or doesn't.
Or gave me, or no, I mean does not.
Right.
Yeah, does not.
I think doth means does.
Doth means,
yeah.
Oh shit, yeah, sorry. My Shakespeare, I need to really catch up.
Prithee, something.
Clearly, I didn't spend enough time in Verona. My Shakespeare didn't rub in. But I think I might have been on the wrong type of the wacky tobacco.
Yeah, he should check with whoever and verify.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a hybrid and it's too strong in the S direction.
Yeah, I mean, but this person is the source. They should know this.
They are? Okay.
Yeah, no, that is the source.
It's not the person I'm thinking of who gets it from their family member.
I mean, yes.
There you go. See?
The family. Oh, that's true. The family member,
as
we
learned from this morning, which we won't repeat that story. But the game of telephone.
The game of telephone is not good.
Sometimes. Sometimes someone said, the coin flip says heads, and they get on the phone and they go, it was tails.
Yeah.
And
shit,
it's not
you're right.
not on purpose. They just
no. Yeah. But either way, I think I've been fucking up.
This is the gentle version of that scene in Pulp Fiction where she's just like, "Oh, look, a bag of something." And it's no, wrong direction.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fine line we walk. Shit. So potential crisis averted, and also a lot of extra weed for somebody. I don't know who's gonna want that.
Just scatter it in your neighbor's garden.
I mean, look, shout out to him. It is strong. So if you're I don't know, lazy and need motivation, I guess perhaps a kick in the ass.
But you're also not anxious. That's the thing. Yeah. You can't be lazy and anxious and then smoke sativa. Yeah. Otherwise, you would have written like 5 books by now.
Oh, I've had a pretty productive couple of months, I would say. Not like more productive than normal, but like just, I don't know. we'll continue. We're going to continue the study. It's early. I mean, it's early. We only have a small number of samples. I'll have to have Hannah turn it into like a beautiful PowerPoint presentation.
We have to fund science ourselves now, so you might as well.
Right. We don't have a Jeffrey Epstein. What are you going to do?
What?
Jeffrey Epstein.
Right.
Yeah.
What?
The thing that he did. You know, when people are like financier Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
What did he finance? He financed like science research.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
so I was
that's
like,
how
what?
he. Yeah, like. Yeah, that's how he like got into like it was in all the academia and shit. It was all, that's how that was his. That was the I mean, I don't want to say his cover because he really did do it, but like that was the good thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything else that was the problem.
I felt like we were on one of the Star Tours we saw today, and all of a sudden it turned into a CVS lot, and I was like, what are we doing here?
No, the funding of the science is in fact the other side of the.
Gotcha.
The everything else that was much
I wasn't referring to him canceling funding science. There's a couple larger entities that are doing it, but I get you now.
Yes. Okay. Should we talk about Apple CarPlay Ultra, or should we review Brad Pitt's F1, which we saw last night? We should do F1 right before the Patreon bit so that people, we could do spoilers and people could just skip easier if they want to skip over that.
Do we want to spoil the movie, or do we want to just talk about it without spoiling it?
I mean, I think we can talk about it without spoiling it.
I think we
probably can.
Yeah, I think we can. We should because it's pretty early.
The A-line plot of the movie
is public knowledge.
Well, and like I could say what it is without like actually necessarily giving away the ending, which is that it is literally someone went into a meeting in Hollywood and went, "What if Days of Thunder, Top Gun, but in a Formula One car?" Mm-hmm. There are actual scenes and plot points that are ripped directly from both of those films,
and lots of sports movies too. It's
lots
very
of sports
movie.
There's the amount of race fixing that happens is not very realistic in terms of the like major league level shenanigans that happen in the beginning of the movie. In terms of, creative use of rule bending, I would say.
I don't know. Because they made I don't want to give too much away. Like, they were very good at saying, this might be, if they do this again, they could get in trouble with F1, something like that. Like, I don't think they really bent the rules. I think they nudged against the line.
I think if one team did all of those things in one season, they'd probably be thrown out.
Well, except right now and in the years past, sometimes it seems like teams are doing those things, but they're doing them by accident. So
right.
They're like, you're just inept.
Right. That's different. Yeah. If they did it and then your teammate won, like it would, or whatever. So I thought it was shot well. I mean, it was shot
very well.
Really well.
It was really, really well done.
Yeah. But also it's kind of funny to me that like it's hard to make Formula One look exciting. Like the racing scenes to me are not as exciting as the racing scenes in Days of Thunder, where there's like rubbing. You know what I mean? Or as exciting as the dog fighting scenes in Top Gun.
Well,
where it's because like Formula One is just like. It's I don't know. It's the cars moving fast on a racetrack is not necessarily. It's a hard thing to make look good.
Yeah, and if you watch Formula One, and if they don't, I've watched other motorsports recently. Like I tried to watch Le Mans. Le Mans, they didn't have the same coverage you have in F1. So F1, like every car has 3 or 4 cameras on it. Plus, there's all the cameras around each track, so they can basically direct like a movie. They can jump to like the nose cone of Lewis's car as he's chasing 2 other people, and you're like, "This is amazing," because this is a shot you'd only get in a movie 20 years ago. So they can put you like on the wing and in the seat and all that stuff. But when you watch Le Mans, they can't do that. Mm-hmm. So I watched the Mustang race, and it's like it looked like a parade. Yeah, because it's just wide shots the whole time. Yeah. So I think they do a pretty good job. You just don't have like the violence basically of Days of Thunder. There's in NASCAR for real. There's a lot more contact, which NASCAR struggles to show on TV, ironically. And then dogfighting, it's machine guns and aircraft. Yeah, it's definitely going to be more exciting.
I know it's just that even the most exciting racing sequences, I was like, these are beautiful, but they're, to me, not that exciting. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not that into Formula One. But
I mean, I watch Formula One every week, and I think that the shots were really well done. I had trouble determining when they were using CGI and when they weren't, which I think is, I mean, that is a compliment. Mm-hmm. But I think to your point, they had to change shots so often to try to bring up that energy that it's hard to make it feel like there's authentic driving happening. Yeah. Except for, the two shots they used a lot of, like the one that makes Brad look like he's racing a car. They did a good job of that. But other than those shots, like, you didn't get a sense of the field, really. You didn't get a sense of cornering speed, really.
They also, the hero car. Folks, we got to take a quick break from the action because this episode is brought to you by IQBAR, our exclusive snack sponsor. IQBAR is the better-for-you, plant protein-based snacks made with brain-boosting nutrients to refuel, nourish, and satisfy hunger without the sugar crash. IQBAR's plant protein bars are packed with high-quality ingredients to help keep you physically and mentally fit. IQBAR is totally free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial sweeteners for a natural, anytime snack. And with over 20,000 five-star reviews and counting, more people than ever are starting their days on the right foot with IQBAR's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. IQBAR sent me a sampler pack, but one flavor really stood out to me, and that is this Thomas Keller collabed salted caramel chip. It's got 12 grams of plant protein and only 1 gram of sugar with, how many calories is it? It is only 170 calories. Nice. Perfect for after podcast, before workout. They taste good and they give me energy for when I hit the gym. Right now, IQBAR is offering our podcast listeners a special 20% discount on all IQBAR products plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text Smoking Tire to 64,000. You got that? Text Smoking Tire to 64,000. That's text Smoking Tire to 64,000. Message and data rates apply. See terms for details. We're also brought to you today from Smalls. Smalls is killing it over here, but not literally, because it's cat food. And if they killed my cats, that would be a huge problem. My cats are probably the most important thing in my life outside of my wife. They are I have almost like Stockholm syndrome. I have to check on them all the time. I have to make sure they're extremely happy. We've modified our home for them. They are literally the most important things that we've got, and I want to feed them the best food. That's why I'm so lucky to be talking about Smalls. They sent me Smalls cat food, and these protein-packed recipes have preservative-free ingredients that you'd find in your fridge. They're delivered right to your door, and guess what? My 4 kittens love them. That's why Cats.com named Smalls their best overall cat food. And right now, they're offering you people 60% off your first order plus free shipping at Smalls.com with promo code TIRE for a limited time only. I've actually been using Smalls to do some tests with my cats. Monty, my youngest, is a bit of a picky eater, and by making a little chart along with all the samplers of what Smalls sent me, I found out that Monty does not like fish. Monty only likes poultry. Fortunately, I learned that with Smalls, and so I've ordered a bunch more of the chicken, and the cats love it. I put the 2 bowls side by side, and the cats are going to the Smalls, which was started back in 2017 by a couple guys at home who were cooking their own cat food in small batches for their friends. Man, this stuff is good. The cats love it. My cats seem healthy. They seem happy. Their coat is shiny, and man, Smalls is awesome. So for a limited time only, because you're a Smoking Tire listener, you can get 60% off your first order of Smalls plus free shipping by using code TIRE. That's 60% off at Smalls.com with promo code TIRE. Again, go to Smalls.com and use promo code TIRE for 60% off your first order. smalls.com. And now, back to the show. The hero car is black, and they're using the real current 2024 F1 field, like the real drivers. I mean,
Yeah,
sure
it's wild,
I'm sure they're having stunt drivers for most of it or whatever, but they're using the color scheme of the actual cars. To put a black car in there, it actually kind of disappears. There were times where even on a giant XD plus 7 blah, 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 screen, they're showing like a battle. And it's like with Lewis or with George Russell or whatever, and like you couldn't tell like which car was which. Actually, it was the same problem they had in the Michael Mann Ferrari movie, where granted it was historically accurate, but in that Milli Milia scene at the end of the film. The Ferraris and Maseratis look almost identical, and they're almost the same color. And so with a quick cut action sequence, Hannah was like, I literally cannot tell which car is which right now.
Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Transformers problem, right?
Yeah,
where there's a
too much
robot
metal.
battle, and you have
Right.
absolutely no idea what anything is.
Yeah, I mean, that's why the Transformers, they have to go yellow, fight, but once they get like silver versus black, it's hard to tell.
And I mean, I think they had an opportunity to make a really like a bright colored car that'd be really easy to pick out of a line of other cars, and yet they made it black.
I wonder why they didn't. Someone in our group was like, I think you could feel Toto's influence on what this team's pit looked like. Like the colors looked very Mercedes.
It looked like the Mercedes.
It looked very much like the Mercedes.
The whole thing, even right down to the actress, like the female leads, all looked like Susie Wolf. Both female leads are like the older female lead that's like the head
woman.
of tech. It looks exactly like Susie Wolf, and the younger like tire changer girl looks just like a younger version of that woman.
That's very funny. Yeah, and also like Lewis's trainer person.
The manager guy.
No, her physio in real life.
Yeah. Which I thought was pretty funny. The other guy is obviously supposed to be an amalgam of the guy with the beard is supposed to be like an amalgam of team principals.
Javier Bardem, his character.
Javier Bardem, who plays the team principal of Brad Pitt's team, who's like, will we be successful or not? And I have everything on the line. I actually think he did a very good job. I met the guy who was the general manager or whatever you call him, running the team.
Okay.
The gray beard.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I can see.
Who I think is the team principal, but the other guy's the team owner.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I thought the car cred stuff was done to a pretty high level. There were no, I can't remember any moments where I fully rolled my eyes at something that was said about cars.
The opening scene, which I won't spoil for people.
Yeah.
What I'll say is when you're sitting there watching it, the movie immediately gets better after that scene ends. Because like that racing scene, which was not an F1 scene, I was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
Like this is way too Fast and Furious of like, oh, he's just going to pass people because he's trying.
Yeah.
And there's too much contact happening and fireworks for some reason.
Yeah. But there's a cameo I was blinded by the cameo from our friend.
Yes, that was super cool.
Yeah. I had 3 friends who had cameos in the movie, and it was very nice to see.
It was such a quick moment. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And that was great.
That is a good one.
I think
what's
overall,
also very funny is, and I guess it doesn't matter to the opening scene of the movie. He's racing on a GT car team, a Porsche team that wins the 24 Hours of Daytona. This happens in the first 9 minutes of the movie, so I don't feel like. But when he gets to F1, he's okay. Come drive for this team. Everybody acts like this guy is a total fucking nobody. You're a loser. I won Daytona like a week ago. Like, does nobody in racing know that I won Daytona a week ago and am now here? Like,
true. Although if he went from I guess it would be like GT class and passed LMP 1 and 2, like just jumped over them to go back to F1. Like, it would be a little leap, but people would know who you were.
Yeah, like people would know who you were.
Probably.
Treat you like some fucking loser. Like,
Well,
they treat him
know.
like he's a total bum, but he's like raced in Formula One before. He's been racing in other series. Apparently, this entire time, he's just like bad with money and gambles and shit.
The bigger surprise is that he's raced in F1 before and then shows up and everyone goes, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
Because if F1 does anything,
Yeah.
it's remind you of the heroes.
I mean, it would
of
be,
the
it would
past.
be like if fucking Martin Brundle, went, and actually I believe, I'm almost certain that the footage of Brad Pitt's quote crash from when he crashed out of F1, I think that's Martin Brundle crashing.
Oh, really?
I think so, yeah. Where he's fully ejected from the car. I think that's a Martin Brundle. It's like, it looks like his car. It's the yellow camel car, which I think was the same. It was the same livery that when Martin Brundle rolled it at the Australian Grand Prix, and then got it when they had replacement cars, and he rolled that car, and then got in the other car and went back out and raced. Like
Imagine when they approach him like, "Martin, we'd love for you to be involved in the film," and he's like, "Oh, great!" And they go, "We just want to license the footage of you crashing, and laying on the ground."
Yeah, I think it was. Was it him?
Uh,
I'm pretty sure it was.
I can't find that specific car, that bright yellow. Well, maybe this might be it.
It's the camel.
Oh, I think you might be right.
Yeah.
Or they recreated it.
It
Yeah,
looked,
no, it's it. It is.
looked just
from
like
1984 Monaco GP.
Yeah, it looked
It's the
just
same.
like it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, it was bad.
Car cut in half.
But
Driver
yeah, no,
not in it.
the car. I mean, yes, some of the 24 Hours of Daytona racing scenes where he passes the entire field are very silly. But the other, like the way they talk about the cars, the way they talk about Aero, there's in the beginning, there's clearly some dialogue and voiceover that's designed to teach the audience what they're going to be talking about the rest of the movie.
Yes, they did it. They did a ton of that. They did a good job of it.
It kept it moving. It was all right.
Well, they do the same thing like Liberty Media does, or actually the announcers do on F1. Like they have the team of three. And the announcers change a lot, but Alex Jakes and David Coulthard, they all do a good job, is explaining quickly and concisely to the audience what this change has meant for this team during the race. Like, they do a really good job of going, they've done that does this, da-da-da. Oh, they're at turn 4. And they did that through the whole movie with, what's the announcer's name? The actual
Will Buxton?
No. He,
the guy who's the voice, John Hindhaugh? Is that his name?
that's one, no, he does Le Mans.
He does.
Usually.
He's Le Mans, yeah.
David Croft.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, David Croft. He was in there a lot. And yeah, there's a lot of voiceover of like the PA system is explaining to the audience a lot of what is happening.
There's
and
a
they
God
do a good
voice
job of
throughout
it.
the movie.
There's a God. Without it,
Yeah.
I mean, even I hope people who aren't really into cars or racing follow along.
Yeah.
If you're into racing, you'll follow along and you won't roll your eyes that much. You won't be like, yeah, no shit. You'll just go, oh, okay. They're moving it forward.
No, it's not. It doesn't pander to people who know about racing too much, actually. It's pretty good in that way. There's some movies that do a terrible job of that, but like this one was pretty good. It was a fun 2.5 hours, I think. It's definitely, if you can see it in IMAX or something.
See it on a big screen.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It's worth it. And if not, if you got a great home theater, it'll be fun too. Yeah. I thought the young black dude did great. I can't remember his name. Sorry. I thought both the leading women were great.
Yeah.
Don't know their names.
I thought the stories were good.
Yeah.
And a lot of the dialogue was pretty funny too. There were some good jokes. There wasn't too much cheese.
But they structure the movie like Drive to Survive. They structure it race after race after race after race. Which I think is probably so that people who watch Drive to Survive like relate kind of.
But I think sports movies, it always builds towards the World Series or the Super Bowl or there's always a big game at the end of the thing that Rudy, they have to work toward. Yeah. Because then it's like the stakes keep increasing and that's going to be your last shot. It's always like that.
Yeah. It's fun.
I think it's cool.
Fun.
I was really I watched Mission Impossible 3 last week and that was garbage.
Really?
Yeah. And this
that's the current one?
That's the new one.
Oh yeah.
You can skip that.
Okay.
Forever. Okay. Or fast forward it because it's very long. This was good.
Okay.
I really enjoyed watching this movie.
Yeah. It was a satisfying watch in general, I think. It was worth your time, for sure. Nice job, everybody. And yeah, and you can fucking not get it on CarPlay. Also, by the way,
You cannot get
it on CarPlay.
But
or
the
CarPlay
movie was
Ultra.
produced by Apple Films or whatever it's called.
Oh,
and
yeah.
This is the segue. Go, speaking of Apple, CarPlay Ultra.
But before that, I will say that the other sponsors in the movie, which are basically the sponsors of Brad Pitt and the other guy's cars, which is a great way to raise money for the movie, by the
Sure
way.
is.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's
you
genius.
sponsor this fictional F1 team and just be all up in it. But, man, are their product shots. The IWC watch has, like, probably 9 seconds of screen time just on the watch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a color that was, like, just for this movie.
Oh,
and they
is
made
that
a whole
why
thing.
when he doesn't want the
When he
thing
doesn't take
won?
the Rolex, he wins Daytona and he's driving away, and the guy goes, "Doesn't he want your watch?"
Yeah.
This is a guy with no money.
Yeah.
This is a guy who lives in a van. He has no money. A fucking winner, a 24-hour winner Daytona at a pawn shop. That's a $75,000 watch.
Yeah.
He goes, no, I got one.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. That
That's
is
the
the
product.
most unrealistic part of the entire movie. That
Actually-
a broke guy wouldn't take a gold Daytona after winning Daytona.
I think they actually justified it by the end, which I don't want to spoil for people. They did an okay job, but at the time I didn't pick up on the IWC sponsorship, and now I
Oh.
completely understand why he turned it.
Yeah. Guy's waving a Daytona at him, and he's like, no, I got a watch.
So, well, he says I got one. I went, oh, maybe he already won this before. That would make sense for the character. It's like, no, he has an IWC that they kept showing. Yeah. And like a lot of the logo, like Expensify sponsored the race car,
Yeah.
and that's true. When you watch F1, it's like the halo ring on everyone's car
Yeah.
is like a crypto company.
I was not talking about on the car.
No, but
I'm
the funniest one was Ninja later. Like there's a
Blenders.
shot of a
The
blender, and on the way home I processed it. And I went, it was like they were blending green things,
Yeah.
healthy. Like they were sending the whole message. Yeah, it was really funny.
Yeah, I would love to do a rewatch purely for product placement, just to make notes of how much screen time each of those products got in that movie, because it is pretty funny how much they snuck in there, a whole bunch. All right, I want to talk about CarPlay now. Aston Martin, actually, full disclosure, huh? Sorry, what?
That would spoil a part of the movie. No, I'll tell you after we're done.
Okay.
It was one of the best moments in it.
Oh, so Aston Martin actually rented West Side Collector Car Storage to have a small media launch for the fact that they are the first manufacturer to have CarPlay Ultra in their cars. Full disclosure, I financially benefited from this arrangement because they paid for this. So, but I had absolutely nothing to do with the technology that's in the car. So we got to play around with it a bit. It's the second generation of CarPlay, and essentially what it does is it integrates more into your car. And when Apple came and told us about this last year and showed us some slides and stuff, we were kind of like, oh no, this looks very bad. Mm-hmm. But I actually do feel some relief having
definitely.
now used it in the Aston Martin, because it's much more like they actually listened to what people didn't like about CarPlay and it made some improvements, rather than trying to shove something down people's throats that is just an overkill of tech that maybe we don't want. Am I right?
Yeah, I think what we kind of saw the skeleton of it, or the functionality, but some of the fonts they had chosen and things felt like they were just going to remove the personality of the inside of a car, and wouldn't have looked at all in place in the Aston Martin.
Right.
And I think with this, they've gotten to say, okay, here's the functionality. Now can we make this part of it look appropriate for the DBX or for the brand? And they did a good job.
Yeah, I mean the main thing, like when someone says, "Well, what is CarPlay Ultra?" If you've used CarPlay before, and I imagine most of us have, there isn't an equivalent for Android Auto right now. Sorry, but basically, when you're using CarPlay in a car,
Car Work. It's called Android Car Work. No, it's not.
It acts like an app in the car, and then you can do your phone, you can play podcasts or music or whatever you would do with your Apple phone that it allows you to do while driving, right? But to do anything else, like set the temperature or use FM or Sirius radio stations or change drive modes, change ADAS settings. You have to exit CarPlay to do that. What this does is it integrates all that stuff into CarPlay. So there's a climate app, there's an ADAS or a vehicle settings app, there's a radio app. And so you can, I think Zach has a photo. Can you make that photo a little bigger just so we can see more screen, more of the car screen? What we're doing there is I'm scrolling through Sirius XM stations within Apple CarPlay. And if you want to scroll, I mean that's pretty much it, right? So you don't have to exit out of CarPlay in order to change basic vehicle settings that you might want to change often. Additionally, CarPlay takes over your gauge cluster screen. Now you might at first glance go, oh no, that's not good. But actually, there's like 6 different screens. It's like other manufacturers have had different screens, right?
Oh, yeah.
But these supposedly just integrate a little more smoothly with CarPlay. So you can now have Apple Maps as your cluster map screen, not just the native Maps app. Mm-hmm. You can have they do have that sort of Apple-like simple screen. They have
right. There's like 3 gauge. Actually, I have pictures of I think all the.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so here we go.
This one is Apple Maps. This one is the sort of Apple I cluster or whatever that doesn't have numbers on the circles on the RPMs.
Yeah, there'd be no like fake needle.
Mm-hmm.
The circles are just simple, thick-banded circles, and then your miles per hour is a digital readout on the left.
Yeah.
This one's kind of the middle ground, I think it was, and then.
Yeah, the one you just had was the sort of default Aston Martin gauge. It looks the most like a regular digital gauge. Mm-hmm. And then they have this one that's like just bars, these 4 bars.
This is very like video game power meters.
Yeah.
You know, there's just like miles per hour,
right.
Miles to empty, sport, and then your temp.
Yeah, and so you can choose through all this stuff in real time. Oh, they have this other one, which is like a sport one that has like a terrain sort of background.
It's like a topographical map in the background. And then this, and some of these to me looked very at home in an EV, but not, in my opinion, in like a super SUV, but you have options. And the same way, like Mercedes gauges these days, I think it was like 8 or 9 different settings, and some of them look like, oh, if I had a fighter jet, I'd love this.
There's a real
fighter jet one. You know what I'm talking about? So they're not all great. People might hate some of them, but hopefully they like some of them, because I thought some of them were the ones that looked more like traditional gauges looked good, super legible, and the integration with all the other settings is really handy.
Yeah. And like you've got standalone volume settings for your different devices and stuff.
So handy to just
which
be
is
all
really
right there.
nice.
Holy crap.
Yeah. They've got some of the like the ADAS settings which end up looking like Apple buttons because that's in there. But here's one screen, go back. So they have a couple ones where it's not in CarPlay Ultra, but it sort of sneaks in a background Aston Martin UI screen for certain like highly specific like audio tuning settings and stuff like that. So every once in a while it will like sneak that in. Do you have a picture of the climate control screen? The climate control screen looks very much like Apple. Oh, we don't? Oh, okay. I mean, it's basic digital temperature controls, but it's big, blocky, touchscreen stuff. They really, the Aston Martin folks said they wanted anything that you had to peck at to be a big, easy to find sort of block. But it is a nice improvement of CarPlay. It's not bad at all, and you don't have to use it. I mean, you can still just connect your phone over Bluetooth, and there's the Aston Martin touchscreen interface underneath that.
Yeah, but having the shorter journey to like the vehicle settings and other stuff instead of having to back out is very helpful.
And also, like, if you like, for me, I like to listen to Sirius a lot, and so to bounce back and forth between Sirius and CarPlay all the time is an extra touch of the home button both ways. Mm-hmm. It's a layover both ways.
Right.
Now I'm in there. So that's nice. And for apparently for people that own many cars, one of their complaints to Aston Martin is remembering all the different stuff in different cars. And so, once more brands roll this out, if they roll this out, a lot of your basic settings and things should remain the same from car, at least how you do stuff, which is nice.
It really is that really is a continuation of the magic of CarPlay. We're all used to using our phone, so it mirrors a lot of it. You're familiar with where these things are and how they look and how responsive the tapping is. Another thing we forgot is like some of the buttons in the touchscreen are now much bigger because it's just easier to hit them. You don't have to hit this tiny pinpoint like you do in some cars. Like, I want to tick this box for ADAS, but it's very small. I'm driving down a road, whatever. Now it's like a 4-inch wide bar. Oh,
and also they've added, it's a hard button. It's the legal minimum, like the GT3, the legal minimum of button taps.
2 taps.
2 taps. So there's a hard button. It pulls up a pop-up window in CarPlay Ultra, and you just tap deactivate all, and then all your ADAS is off, which is great.
I forget. Someone asked, was this wireless or wired?
Wireless.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, wireless. Yeah. Or either. It's either, but it works wireless. Yeah. Yeah, and right now it goes all the way back to iPhone 13, which my phone is just sneaking in under there.
And you also, for those of you who own a 2023 Aston Martin, you can bring it in and they'll retroactively put it on, right?
2024 model year and up. If it has the touchscreen. Yeah, when they got away, if it's post AMG UI, they can retroactively.
You don't have to buy a new car.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're going to get us a Vantage Roadster. Because we've already driven DBX 707s a bunch, so they're going to get us a Vantage Roadster with CarPlay Ultra in a few weeks, and we'll get to play with it on some video. But overall, I thought it was a nice system. I told them to their face that I missed the real gauges, and they said a lot of people have brought that up. They said I'm not the only person who brought that up, and that sadly, at the very high end, that's the kind of thing that could come back. They're looking at what Bugatti's doing and going, the rich people want this.
Yeah.
They don't want more screen,
I really like Porsche's setup where it was mostly real gauges and like the one pod that you could change. That was sweet.
Like in my car, that's no notes.
Yeah.
Leave it just like that. It's perfect. I was in the Uber. I dropped off a customer car this morning after our show, and I was in the Uber back here, and I heard a commercial for Toyota, which I thought, and the commercial was appropriate because we were just driving the TRD Pro 4Runner, which we're not going to review today, but in doing my research for it, I built one on their website, and you can get all these crazy stuff through the dealer, like Dometic fridges and ARB this and rigid lights and Yeti built-in coolers and all kinds of cool stuff that you could just order with the car and it comes in, and I guess you could roll it into your financing, which is pretty sweet. But this Toyota commercial comes on the radio in the Uber, and it's about how you can customize your car at the dealer. And it's this guy who goes, it's like a Hispanic dude who's like, I bought a Toyota Camry TRD Pro, not TRD Pro, a Camry TRD, man. He's like, and I just love it. And then he's like, I customized it. And then he proceeds to list off the most cholo-y mods. He's like, I swapped out the headlights. I put a different exhaust on it. I put an intake. I put this. I was like, they're doing intakes and exhaust at the dealer?
Headlights?
No, and headlights. And changing headlights.
What are the headlights?
At the dealer.
Is that just upgrading?
This is a radio commercial, okay?
Right.
So then that's the guy. Now my car is the sickest Camry on the block. All right, cool, man. Then the voice comes back on. Come on down to your nearest Toyota dealer and check out our full line of modifications from makers like Rigid, ARB, Dometic, Yeti, and something else and they list off everything you can put on the 4Runner,
but not on the Camry.
And the Tacoma. They don't talk about anything this dude was just talking about with his Camry. Nothing.
Now I wonder if it would be either they've been using that guy's dialogue for a year, and they can just attach different accessory readouts on the end.
Yeah.
Or it's just like the
I
grossest
think-
version of trying to appeal to this market, and then
I think they know exactly what they're doing. They go by, let's get a guy imply, but not directly say that you could get parts for Camrys, even though this thing really is only for.
But if someone
off-road.
went to the dealership and was like, "I'd like to get the intake and
Get
exhaust," they
Sir,
talked about.
Sir, your tires are out of date. We're going to have to change those.
I think
while you're down here, we can get you on.
I think they'd get sued for false advertising, though. They have to. I mean,
they don't
well,
false advertising.
well, if,
It's just implication, but they don't falsely say you could put parts on your Camry. They don't say we have parts for your Camry.
he says he customized his Camry, right?
He did.
So I think
But
that's why I pulled up the
couldn't go
intake
back,
you
I
can
couldn't
get.
play back the beginning of the commercial, so I couldn't hear the words of I went to the dealer and got it. Oh, so there is a TRD for a Camry? That's the intake for a Camry?
I searched Camry intake, cold air, TRD cold air intake system.
Oh.
Ba-do-ba-do-do.
All right, so you can get an intake for a Camry, I guess. This doesn't say Camry anywhere.
It doesn't.
Wait,
It said it in
what
Google.
this fits? Look, go see. Pull that down. What this fits? 3 models, 68 variants.
Between
But
06
it
and
doesn't
11.
say what they are.
That's weird. Oh, wait, here.
Between
Oh, that doesn't
2006 and 2011. All right, but this is Camry?
I don't know. I Googled quickly.
Oh, all right. That's pretty funny. I think it's probably for a truck. All right. AEM, no.
Oh, here you go.
Don't get a cold air intake on your Camry, people. That's an AEM. And, don't do that. Just forget that. Leave that alone.
That's funny.
But it seemed like a little bit of a bait and switch.
Well, speaking of which, look, Fred Anderson Toyota will sell you a TRD cold air intake for $291.
Oof.
But autoparts.toyota.com will sell it to you for $772.
Do we know what it fits?
No, we don't. These might not even be the same part. I'm showing two different parts and comparing prices.
Select your vehicle
Let's
to
see what
ensure
this
an
fits.
exact fit. This one fits 43 variants.
Fewer variants, but newer models.
I don't. Oh boy.
I don't know. This is wacky. I'm bringing us all over the map.
Yeah. We're going to go to the Patreon but first, another update from our friend David Tuig, who was the project manager, project lead, whatever, in charge of designing and building the Alpine A110.
He was the big twig at.
We were talking about
Alpine
we were talking about the unbelted passenger thing, and that's why it couldn't be sold here. He added, it's not just the shape of the dash, but the shape of the roof, and the fact that the roof goes far forward and the windshield is pretty upright compared to a windshield that's further raked back with a headliner that's closer to your head. He said to redesign the car to meet the U.S. crash standards, to redesign that car would add hundreds of pounds to the car.
Wow.
And he said a big part of the reason that the Cayman is global and the Alpine is not is the same reason that the Cayman is like 500 pounds heavier than the Alpine.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love, and look, the science is the science, but like looking at the profile of this car.
Yeah.
To call this windshield very upright.
Right.
Is
But look at
wild.
so look at a photo of that windshield and where the top of it is compared to a Cayman relative to the driver's head.
Okay. It's going to show me I thought it was going to show me a crocodile. All right.
So the windshield is further back in the car, and the windshield itself goes higher up and further angled back towards the
Well, let's see.
driver's head.
The Cayman windshield terminates just behind the mirror on the door, right? So we go here.
Well, the mirror's further forward. The whole canopy is pushed forward in the Alpine compared to the Cayman. The windshield's more upright, and the dash binnacle, the top of the where the windshield meets the thing, is further forward in the Cayman, or in the Alpine. Sorry.
So the windshield's too far away.
Yes.
Is that the short?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So someone flies too far.
Correct.
Before hitting the windshield.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
David wanted to add that in 47 out of 50 states, it is illegal to drive without a seatbelt, and yet we will coddle the other 3 in order to not have this car. He's like, if you think it's annoying, he's like, I saw your video. When I tell you why you can't have that car, you're going to be even madder. He's like, because there's 3 states in your country that refuse to enact seatbelt laws, and all cars have to coddle those people that need coddling because they refuse to be told to wear their seatbelt.
Are those people buying Caymans? Would they buy? They probably wouldn't even buy. I don't want to be. Wow. All right.
What's
New
the
Hampshire is the only U.S. state now that does not require adults to wear seatbelts.
All right, live free or die. 50, so 49, not 47.
Well, this was as of 2019. New Hampshire was the only state.
Okay,
so,
so he did this car in 2017.
Right.
So maybe they've changed it. But either way,
New Hampshire. What do you?
They're living free or dying, literally.
Yeah.
Literally,
Yeah.
they're dying for not wearing seatbelts and helmets. Free.
Good job.
Free from being told. Right?
If you fly through a windshield and you don't die, it's probably going to be very painful for quite a while. Like, wear your seatbelt.
I knew someone who didn't believe in seatbelts, and guess how he died? Just like fucking that.
Shouldn't have
Seriously.
laughed at that. But
Yeah, on the FDR drive. Yep, went ejected from a Ford Thunderbird.
And
This dude weighed 280 pounds. Imagine getting ejected from a Ford Thunderbird weighing 280 pounds and going out the windshield. That's literal. That's what happened to him.
I saw a video of someone getting ejected once, and you would not believe it. It's really alarming when physics takes over how quickly the body folds and molds to the opening it's going through,
Yeah.
and like your legs don't matter. It's just that's where it's going because that's momentum, and you wear a seatbelt after that.
Yeah. Should we go to the people?
Yeah.
The people, by the way, need to know that the link will be up on both social media and this podcast and on the Patreon for tickets to our live shows July 24th and 25th in Houston and Dallas, Texas at the shops. There's 150 tickets per thing. And it'll be fun. There's food there. There's drinks. Bring your car out. We're bringing Christian James Hand, so ensure that you have a good show. And it'll be really, really fun. So we'll make sure that that's up by the end of the day today, which is Monday.
Did you watch sale start today? Someone asked.
Oh, no, the parts aren't quite ready. Don't worry.
Okay.
I will let you know.
Okay.
I will let everybody know.
I'll chop that part.
I will let everybody know. Okay, of course, if you want to ask questions on the show, if you want to get it live, if you want to get it early, if you want to get it without ads, if you want to get extra as well as access to early drops of cool collabs and or merch, patreon.com/thesmokingtire is where you do it. Koenig Special Needs. That's pretty good. I like that a lot. Do V12 starter motors sound cool because of the number of cylinders or something integral to the starter itself? Do you think there's a market for starters on smaller motors to be tuned to sound like V12 starters? I have heard lots of V12 starters, and I don't think they sound particularly special.
What?
The starter motor itself. I don't think there's anything to it. I
couldn't do an impression. I don't know what that would sound like.
I mean, I think certain manufacturers' cars have a distinct start sound to them that transcends the number of cylinders they make. For instance,
You're talking about the cranking sound, not once they fire.
The cranking sound. Like Ferrari starters sound the same. All Ferrari starters sound the same. All McLaren starters sound the same.
I feel like this is saying, did you see the T-shirt that the lead guitarist was wearing of the band you saw? And I'm like, I don't care what the T-shirt said.
Yeah.
I care what the guitar. What
I don't think I don't think there's anything about the starter motors that are special. I think each company uses a supplier of a starter motor, and I mean, more cylinders, the starter motor has to be more powerful, right? Because it literally has to turn more.
Yeah, I think this person. I think they might be confusing engine sound with starter sound.
Yeah, that, or I think you want to hear something that you're not really hearing.
I'm trying to imagine, like, if it's a higher pitched versus lower pitched stuff. or like F1 cars, like that's a different type of starter. That's like a high revolution,
No,
like literally
it's
high
not
RPM, and then that's different.
I don't know. I think certain companies have car starters, like McLaren's have a specific one, and Rolls-Royce is a specific one. Ferrari does. Maybe certain old 911s, like air-cooled 911s, have a specific one. But like, I just think it's the part they were using combined with the sound it takes when you start to move that engine from rest.
Yeah, I think that. I do not think there would be a market for tuning the sound of a starter.
Tim A says, we now have lots of experience off-roading EVs. I don't know about a lot, but enough. How does it feel to off-road an internal combustion 4Runner after spending time in a G-Wagon or Rivian? Outside of range, is there an upside to a traditional off-roader? No,
I missed the Instatorque of EV stuff.
Yeah. I like the silence. I like not having gears. And infinitely variable torque. I mean, once you've done a Rivian or an electric G-Wagon, like you can't go back to like regular cars after that. P-Car Photos, what underrated, by the way, I saw that guy in Malibu on Sunday. What's up to him? What underrated car community or niche deserves more attention? Texas quail rigs, for sure. Texas quail rigs are dope as fuck. Nobody's talking about.
That's like the safari thing, right? With the benches on the front and stuff.
Sick.
Front wheel drive drifters, you know.
Skid plate racers?
Yeah, no one's paying attention to them.
Sure. We should pay more attention to skid plate racers. I mean, I
don't know.
I don't know. I don't discover a new car community very often. I mean, if there's like a group of like 25-year-olds that have like Model Ts and shit, let me see what they're up to. If they're doing something cool, like let's see what that's about. You know?
Yeah.
I want to see like the very young people that are working on like brass era stuff. Like them kids we met at Audrain. Like those guys, they're doing something interesting. These are kids who grew up and they go, you know what I want to do is like figure out how to fix cars that are 100 years old.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Doug's Dinero. That's pretty good. You guys are getting better at this. Picked up my first premium watch, an Omega Seamaster. After 3 months, it has its fair share of light scratches and dings from everyday wear and activities. That is superb. How do you come to terms with the potential damage or patina when wearing your high-end watches? I mean, and then he says, how do you come to terms with the potential damage of wearing your watches out in the world? This is a $4,500 watch, but I can't imagine having the confidence to wear a $100K watch out in the world. I mean, I don't wear $100K watches out in the world, so I understand. But I think, let me put it this way. My father has been wearing a Rolex Submariner, no date, since he bought it brand new in 1990. Pretty much every day. He now has a couple other watches, but that's new for the last 3 or 4 years. Up until then, for 40 years, he wore this one watch every single day. And it's a little faded, and it's got scratches on it. And I guarantee you 2 things. One is that someday he will die, and when he does, I will wear the fuck out of that watch. And he has other watches that he's bought, including this unbelievable Patek that he's never worn, is in the box, in the safe somewhere, and he says it's for me. He bought it for me. And I said, okay, well, can I just have it now? No, it's for you when I die. I don't want a dad's dead, here's a consolation prize new Patek. Like, that's not my idea of a good time. You know, if we're talking about an inheritance, the beat up Submariner that he wore every day, that's the one I want. I don't really give a shit about this other thing. Yeah. It's just a thing that's worth money, but besides that, like, who cares? And also, like, I have watches like that my dad gave me, the 2 watches that he's given me, both Rolexes, both beat to shit. They got scratches, all the best. Memories, They've been around, and now when I showed, look at that. Oh, that's great. That's the fucking patina. You're not gonna break that watch. I mean, you might like actually break it. It could be fixed, but like little scratches and stuff, like it's all good. You don't see them from more than a couple feet away, and nobody cares. The other thing I could guarantee you is if my dad went to sell that watch today, he decides I'm a piece of shit who doesn't deserve it, and he wants to sell it. I guarantee you, adjusted for inflation, he makes a profit. There's no question in my mind that he could take that to Craft and Tailored or any of these guys that buy hot vintage.
The watch he's worn every day.
The one he's worn every day.
Okay.
Yeah, that one. One owner, one service, never polished, nicked up but running great and looking good. That's a desirable watch right now. So this dude's watch could be that one day. Maybe his kid wants it, and those nicks and stuff are his dad's life.
Yeah,
on that
it's a
watch.
sign of a life lived.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and like cars with paint chips and stuff like that.
Yeah. I understand if you got something really expensive. I get it. You don't want to scratch it up. I only take really good care of one watch that I own, and it's because it's gold, and gold like scratches.
Yeah.
And so
I was shocked at how quickly my wedding ring went from being round to not round. I was like, whoa, it's been a month.
Yeah. So the one gold watch I have, I treat a little more gingerly. Everything else, fucking, who cares? Angela's breast. I still don't know what that means.
I don't either. I just Googled it, and I got some strange YouTube videos that are saying, like, here's how to pump breast, and I didn't click on them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe this person is a new parent, and they think their world is everyone's world. I don't know.
Yeah. A while back, I asked about what cars are practically imperfect but perfect for their ethos. Is the Alpine the gold standard of this? I mean, yes and no. It's not that impractical. It's not that impractical. The only thing about it that's impractical is that you may have to adjust it comes with its own luggage, and that's annoying instead of using your own luggage. Other than that, I don't think it's much of a sacrifice to drive that car.
Someone explained that that's a horny version of Angela's crest. Angela's breast.
Oh. I think, okay.
I feel dumb now, David and Ethan.
No, but it's Angelis, not Angela's. If it was Angeles, breast highway, that's the joke. That's the joke, yeah.
You need highway.
Yeah, that's
I think
the joke.
I think it works. Like Los Angeles.
They need to workshop it.
Yeah,
you need to workshop
version
that
1.
a little
version
bit.
2, add
Yeah.
highway, and you got it.
Right,
HWY.
Granny shifting, not double clutching like you should. I realize you're not super fond of these questions. Would you rather own a first-gen Ford GT or a 911 ST? That's
4G.
very interesting.
Talking about the 04, 05.
Yeah, the 04, 06.
That one. Yeah, that.
It depends.
Do that.
If I wanted a car that I was going to drive once a month, or if I was going to have a car that I was going to drive every day. Once or twice a month, Ford GT, 100%, not even a question. Drive it 200,000 miles as much as possible, ST.
True.
The ST could just be your car.
That's true.
There's no reason the ST couldn't just be your car. You couldn't do that with the Ford GT.
Very true.
There's no trunk.
There's not enough fuel in the world.
There's no trunk. You can't like park next to other people. Like, it's
that.
amazing, but it's also like super annoying. Mark Farrar, the tired smoker. Oh, that's kind of actually good. Did I spot Misha in the crowd at Abu Dhabi in the F1 movie?
I think you mean Misha from Sharugan? The guy from
Misha.
Nürburgring?
Oh, the
Is that who they mean?
Nürburgring
I
guy?
don't know.
Oh, I wasn't looking for him. I'm not sure I could see him out of context.
Also, the crowd shots. There's a lot of people, but
Yeah.
would we try to?
If
take
given
a
the
thing?
opportunity, would you take a stab at serious racing? I mean, I don't have it. I don't have the thing that Senna said, if you do not go for a gap, I don't have that. I don't go for those gaps. I am a really good teammate on an endurance team. I'll run that number. If the lap time is if Pat Long can do this track in 1:30, I can do a 1:28 100 times in a row. That's what I do.
Wait, if Pat Long
I'm
runs
sorry,
it,
a 1:32. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I can do a 1:32 100 times in a row and bring the car back perfectly shiny, stop right in the box. So I'm a good teammate, but I don't have the kill thing.
I would try it, but I don't think I would be up front. But I would happily try actually racing. I mean, it's all about funding. So if I had lots of money and I was like, I'll do a season of Spec Miata just to do it, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad Gardener has a question and is fishing for a thing that they're sure exists but doesn't. Wants to know the best or craziest sponsors offers that we've declined. There isn't some crazy thing where we could have like made all this money and we were like, oh no. I mean, there was going to, there were opportunities to be like literally paid mouthpieces for OEMs, and we decline those. And those come up all the time. But it's not usually give our car a good review. It's come to a speaking engagement at our corporate thing, and we turn those down. There really are, there's like weird boner pills and weird supplements that are, not FDA approved and unverified. Most of it doesn't even merit a response. Like Chinese, just total junk products, crypto scams. I mean, the number of crypto scams are.
There was a year where like every month I'd get a DM on Instagram that said like, "Hey, how much do you charge for a shout out?" And I'd look at the profile and it was just made up bullshit finance stuff.
Yeah, every one of those that I've gotten, I get probably 2 or 3 a day. How much for a shout out? They're all crypto farms. And I go, I don't do crypto, bro. Why not, bro? We are not coin, we are farm. Like, what does that mean? Like, go away. Like, weird. But yeah, there's none of them are crazy. They're all just stupid and or fake or scams. Okay. Bald, bearded, and beautiful. With modern synchro transmissions, is there any value in double clutching as opposed to just heel and towing? No, there's no value in double clutching a modern synchronized transmission. You do not need to do this anymore. Okay. What is it? Panic at My Disco. That's pretty good. Yeah, we could workshop that a little bit. What is it about OEMs that drive them to design and implement car features that the masses generally do not want or need? Why does Cadillac develop doors that close with a button in the Escalade IQ, even though an equivalent amount of effort is required to just pull it shut? Same principle applies to electronic folding rear seats. Why? Okay. All right. Hang on a minute. This person has a rant that has a 100% objective answer to it. Why does this Cadillac have doors that close with a button? Because that's considered luxurious. Rolls-Royce does it. They're copying Rolls-Royce. Cadillac is not original. Cadillac hasn't had an original thought in a really, really long time. They just, whatever Rolls-Royce is doing, they copy it on a budget. Right? So the electronic door close, that's Rolls-Royce. Electronic folding seats, that started with like Audi or Range Rover or something. They're just copying it. If you have a giant SUV, electronic folding rear seats is luxurious. I would argue that your theory that customers don't want or need, if they're paying $150,000, they're saying it better have this.
Right.
Because the Jeep Grand Wagoneer for $67,500 has it or whatever.
And if you have a deep trunk and the old way to fold your rear seat is to like reach way forward, unclasp the thing, push it forward. If you're a shorter person or a person with some sort of physical ailment or you just don't want to because you have money, like hitting a button is nice.
Yeah. Follows up, why can't OEMs fix real problems? Do you think this is a joke?
No, I think this is real.
Serious. Here's the list of real problems. A cup holder that will fit my hydro flask. Last I checked, the hydro flask is like a big bottle.
Well, yeah, it's a big cylinder. Yeah. And what's funny, and not to talk shit at Panic, but like you say the masses, a lot of people use hydro flasks, but I'd say right now more people use Stanley cups, for example.
Yeah.
And Stanley cups taper at the bottom. And
Yeah.
I think, look, this 4Runner, the center console would be wide enough to fit one hydro flask. I have a hydro flask. You could fit one, or you could have 2 cup holders.
Yeah.
So that the masses use
You're
cups.
talking about a huge bottle that's
Yes.
bigger than any cup holder on the market, basically.
Yeah.
So that's not a real problem.
And then it's limited to only fitting that thing versus if you go into a gas station and you buy any number of sodas or
Yeah.
Red Bulls or whatever. Like, I think designing cup holders that can fit a wide variety of beverages is a challenge many engineers undertake every year.
And there's good cup holders and not so good cup holders. But saying, why can't you fix a real problem like making a cup holder that's bigger than like any cup ever?
It's very specific. Yeah.
Or dashboards that don't become sticky over time. I mean, some of that is really out of their hands because they don't know what happens to this car. What's
In 20
when
years.
yeah.
I think they don't want to. Like, the next example is, why don't they make headlamp assemblies that don't cloud up? They don't
not
want them
supposed
to
to.
cloud up.
Yeah.
That now something is breaking down in the glue or whatever, and then if the engineers know that's happening for 20 years and never fix it, well, then they're just being cheap, or the accountants are being cheap.
Yeah.
Or it's you need to go to DuPont and say, please make me a new kind of glue to hold these things together.
Yeah.
But they don't want.
I don't think
It's a bad
anyone
reputation.
made a dashboard or buttons where they said we're going to put these in,
No.
and they're going to be sticky over time. And like they're always trying to come, manufacture. It's like when a manufacturer takes shit for when a car is not reliable 15 years after it was sold. It's like, dude, I get it. They're trying to. Nobody wants to make an unreliable car, but they're trying to make it get to the end of their warranty. And after that, they're honoring this car presumably for a pretty reasonable period of time.
Yeah, I think it hurts their reputation if the lenses in the headlights fog up or get condensation within a lease cycle.
Yeah.
Then they have a problem. Like, then that is a poor design. But if it's 8 years later,
And if you're talking about luxury cars, luxury features in luxury cars, those are always going to be technologically on the lead. A luxury car is about cramming technology and features into it until you get to Rolls-Royce.
yeah. Well, wasn't the line, I think Clarkson said, if you want to know what every car will have in 15 years, look at what Mercedes has today.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true anymore, but it was true for a long time. And if you're going to be the first one through the door developing a new technology, Japan will be the one that will make it super reliable and a lot less expensive, but it's going to be 20 years later.
Yeah, and if you're making an electric SUV with a fucking 200 kilowatt hour battery, why wouldn't you make it do some fucking electric dance shit? You know what I mean? Like, Tesla made all their doors electric and closed in the Model X.
And it got a lot of eyeballs,
Yeah.
and it was kind of a cool, entertaining thing to do, and those doors broke a lot. But
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Like I don't know what would actually make this person happy, other than someone custom building a car that's just for you and that lasts 30 years,
Biggest
but is
couple
also also luxurious. Okay. Alejandro says new 4Runner or Land Cruiser for 90% daily driver with once a quarter off-road trip, like a BDR.
have you driven the new Land Cruiser? I have not.
I did.
But after looking at the pricing of 4Runners, I would definitely go test drive a Land Cruiser if I was doing 90% on road.
The Land Cruiser I drove was like a middle of the road one. And then this is the TRD Pro 4Runner. So I didn't really go trim for trim.
No, but I think we go dollars for dollars. That's how I'm thinking about it.
The Land Cruiser I drove was only a little more expensive than this fully loaded 4Runner. It didn't feel like it did more. I mean, it had like a lot of the same stuff in it. It held basically the same amount of people and things for me. Do you need a third row? Because Land Cruiser was a third row, and the hybrid. But they both had the hybrid engine. The Lexus one I drove with the 6-cylinder I didn't love. I'd probably rather have the hybrid engine, to be honest with you. either of those vehicles in almost any trim would be able to do a BDR trail. I mean,
we did the BDR in Accents and Previas.
Yeah,
so
but you could get through it with without a scratch in a Land Cruiser or a 4Runner for sure. I mean, are they worth it at 60 to 70K? Like, I mean, kinda. I don't know what I haven't priced the competition, so I don't know. I mean, everything's expensive now.
Everything's expensive, but I mean, the 4Runner we drove was $12,000 more than the Ranger Raptor. That's like a $57,000 car.
Yeah,
and if you're going off-road capability comparison, like they're even.
Yeah.
And so I think that's.
The Ranger Raptor was definitely a better value for money than either of the Toyotas.
Now, I think you don't need – I think the thing I would tell Alejandro is someone like you doesn't need the TRD Pro.
Yeah.
There are a number of different trims below it that start in the 50s that are like a 4Runner, off-road, whatever the name is. Their names are not very good, but that have four-wheel drive and decent clearance and all this shit and will do the BDR and also save you $15,000.
Yeah.
So look at those.
We had to get to some pretty technical stuff today before needing to engage low range or any of the technologies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, regular 4x4 mode that comes with any 4Runner or Land Cruiser would get you up this trail without trouble. I don't know. And also, like, which one do you like looking at?
Also,
if you ask me, the 4Runner looks better than the Land Cruiser. But that's just my opinion. The Land Cruisers, I like the Land Cruiser's interior better. The 4Runner has the same interior as the Tacoma and the Tundra, and it's very much like fucking Monster Jam interior. It's like Riverside County, flat bill, Monster Jam. It's not classy.
No, it's just very knobby, functiony, all that stuff.
Joe says, what's your opinion on painting cars with paint from other manufacturers? No opinion. Do whatever the fuck you want. Have fun.
Exactly.
There's no opinion on colors. Enjoy
if you like
yourself.
it, then do it.
I saw someone did a Frozen Berry Spider RS, and I saw it, and it looked pretty cool. The gold wheels.
The Astons that were here, I looked at the green, and I was like, that's what I want my car to look like. Put that green on an E46 all day.
Nino Pinto Santa Maria. That's pretty funny.
Good.
Is a $6,000 R53 Mini Cooper S as good of a project track car bargain as it seems? Them's expensive to fix.
Well, I love the term, is this a good project bargain? You go, well, it will be a project.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to blow it up for sure. They're not great track cars, but I mean, $6,000 is a pretty low amount of money to risk for a car that's pretty fun to drive. So
fun.
They're a good time. I don't have an STI. Says I want a V8 rear-wheel drive manual experience for under $75,000. Arizona back roads, C7 Z06 or Shelby GT 350R. I would have the Shelby 350R.
Yeah.
C7 Z06s don't do much for me. And if you want to do an Arizona track day with a C7 Z06, get used to limp mode. Thems don't have the coolings.
You could also look at used C8 Z51s for that money.
Yup.
Oh, you want a manual.
V8 rear-wheel drive manual. And I don't think you're not getting a 2015 Viper for that, are you? Isn't it weird that Vipers, like the fucking Gen 5 Vipers, have like the best resale value of any car ever? If you could get it, if you're into a track day, you'd rather have a Viper than a C7 Z06.
Really?
Yeah, it won't overheat.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's very true. I was like, I've only driven Vipers on the street, and
Vipers are fun on tracks.
Unique seating position, everything is daunting.
350Rs.
That's the best.
That's all right. Let's see. Okay, here from Matt's Cats. I want to put actual exhaust tips on my Volkswagen Atlas and get rid of the fake plastic exhaust and the downturn tips under the car. I'm not sure how to pick something that will look natural. Any advice? Okay, can we get a picture of the rear of a Volkswagen Atlas? My gut says to not do this, by the way.
I think I know what he's talking
I know what I know where your brain is going, but I really don't recommend you do this. And it just won't. Okay, so that top left is the photo we want there, that gray. So those are fake, those outlets, and there's The muffler is behind the bumper, and you could kind of see. Can you see it in there? Does that photo not?
It doesn't.
Oh, bummer.
It doesn't really zoom.
So, well,
here's why I wouldn't do this, because the engineers didn't. I'm betting the engineers haven't put heat shielding in there.
Yeah.
The exhaust goes in the direction that they planned for, and if you send exhaust out the back, you might melt the bumper, tailgate. Like, you might fuck up. So you could literally cause a car fire, and it might not be insured because they're like, "You did what, sir?" I would not do that.
And for what? What is the upside of this? I mean, the upside is a thing about this car that bothers you, maybe doesn't bother you, but like, you're not going to put an aftermarket exhaust in this thing. It makes at the most 275 horsepower.
I do understand the instinct, because I remember early on in this job, when you started seeing cars with the cool like metal slats, but then you saw the pipe was either set back from it or just turns down, and you go, "Oh, well, that's
stupid,
disingenuous." Like, I always can I connect those tips or something like that? But in this case, you can't change the exhaust routing to go through a body panel without some pretty significant risk.
Yeah, and the upside of it is so low.
Yeah.
I see, especially now that we're looking at this.
If you get a chrome tip,
it really does look terrible with the fakes. And I understand why you would not want it to look like that, because it does actually look kind of stupid. Well, in the side profile, they've really made the Atlas look a lot like a Bentayga, haven't they?
Yeah, you can really see the hard
in these
points
press
there.
photos. Whoever shot these press photos, who was that? Michael Simari?
Right there.
Shout out to him. That looks just like a Bentley Bentayga right there. Nice job. So anyway, I really wouldn't. Even if you were to find an aftermarket exhaust for this thing, which, like, who would put an exhaust on this? Who would bother engineering one?
Yeah.
It's not going to go through the bumper.
Yeah.
You'd have to fully fab this from scratch. And even then, imagine you set your Atlas on fire.
Yeah.
Just because you were like, I don't like those fake ones that are just like everybody else's fake ones. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, look at that. Exo Performance. People do make exhaust for this dumb thing. That's crazy.
Like, this one just dumps out under the floor.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah,
Where's
yeah.
Exo
That one's
Performance?
just got a dump.
Where's the XO Performance?
Second row, second from the right. That. There's eBay exhaust. That looks like it has a dump, too.
Yeah, and something else. Every now and then, someone will have a product. They'll be like, "Oh, I found a Chevy exhaust. I'm going to rebrand it as an Atlas exhaust and sell it on eBay." And you can't refund your money.
third row in the middle. The vertical photo. One down, one left. Real tips on an Atlas.
Oh my God! On a VR6 Atlas.
On a VR6
Got it done,
Atlas.
finally.
Okay, so here's a guy.
Reddit has everything.
And by the way, this doesn't look that good either. This only looks okay.
Well, these are like Corvette tips.
Yeah, they're weird. So scroll down. Does it have a thing? Okay. Yeah, it doesn't. It's just, Yeah, I don't know. Go back up to the photo. It's not my favorite.
This is a bad choice. But also, the tips terminate after the bumper.
Yeah.
So you'd have to do that also, because they're probably worried about the heat. Just don't do it, dude.
Yeah, just don't do it. Just
and I'm
don't
saying
do it.
dude because there's no way a woman would ask this question. No way.
Barbecue sauce on my titties. On Doug's podcast, he mentioned the average Rolls-Royce Spectre buyer is 35. A lot of Rolls-Royce depreciation is based off of maintenance costs, but if it's electric, that doesn't equate. Because it's electric, will they depreciate more or less? They will depreciate more because they're electric, and there is no evidence that an electric Rolls-Royce will be any less maintenance than a gasoline one. And my guess is that the average Rolls-Royce Spectre buyer is very much brought down by China, by the number of people like in their 20s in China buying those.
Well, it's a coupe.
Yeah.
And people who don't have kids and families and whatnot buy coupes.
Yeah.
And once they do, they go, "I would like the Cullinan, please."
Yeah, that too. I think they will depreciate very, very fast, as all luxury electric cars do. Christian says, can you scroll down? When I fondly remember my E39 BMW, I think of how solid the interior felt. Out of all the cars you've driven, what stands out with the best interior build quality? Bentley. I mean, just anything from Bentley.
Did everything worked? I mean,
in my car?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my car was made of fucking metal and I mean, that thing was built unbelievably well. I've never been in a Bentley that wasn't put together impeccably.
I would say on the other side of the mileage coin would be like LS400, because you can put 500,000 miles on them and everything works and feels good.
Yeah, those were
even the seats.
When they were new, they really, really did hold up very well. Prashant says, on an old podcast, I preferred the SLS AMG GT to the 997 GT3 on track. You rarely talk about SLSs compared to 997s these days, and you're curious if you still feel this way. I think that was probably the last time I ever drove a 997 GT3 on track. So nothing has happened that would change my opinion, but I wouldn't buy either of those cars to do track work today. I just think they would both feel old today. I mean, that was the newest SLS AMG is like a 2013 and the newest 997 is a 2011. So, I mean,
what year did we drive that SLS black across Europe? Was that 2013 or 12?
No, the Black Series was 15. That was the end. Sorry, I guess it was 13, 14 maybe for the GT. SLSs, I think, I've always thought the GTs were really nice. Those are great cars. They're great road cars. They're fun as shit. They were a lot better than the early SLSs, and I think time will be very kind to them. Would you rather drive a VQ swapped RX-7 or a rotary swapped 370Z? Wow, is that just like the...
This is auditory torture.
God, that's just like funny. The worst possible... Probably the FD RX-7 just because the chassis is better than the 370Z.
Oh God, that's terrible. Yeah, I'd go RX-7 just based on looks.
Alfa Romeo and Giulietta, I like cats, but how do I prevent them from walking and sleeping on my car outside? You got to put a cover on your car, I think.
Yeah.
Car's warm.
Yeah.
That's why they're there. They're there because it's warm. Yeah, I mean, I presume you're talking about like random strays, not your own cats. Not much you can do about that. I would say get a cover. There we go. Here for Matt's cats. Are some kinds of modded cars better poised for dealer trade-in as opposed to private sale? Or do modded cars need a private sale for best results? No, if you're going to a dealer, you need that car to be stock.
Yep.
Do not try it. A dealer will double fuck you for your car being modded. They're going to go, I have to put this back now, and it's going to cost me all this money. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they can't sell a modded car. Really.
We have a friend who has leased or financed several new cars in the last 5 years and modded the fuck out of them, including cutting vents in the hood. And he always puts them back to stock before turning them in. Mm-hmm. So follow his way.
Yeah. Okay. Rage against the touchscreens. What is your opinion of the relationship between Delta Airlines and Porsche? And if you were advising on their car partner strategy, what would you do for loyalty perks? First, for the record, I've never been shuttled anywhere in a Porsche because of my Delta status or my automotive journalist status. My opinion of it, I think it's smart for Porsche, and I think if Delta's going to have a car anyway to partner with, Porsche's North American headquarters is at the Atlanta airport, which is where Delta's headquarters are. So that's why that makes sense. There's a PEC at the Atlanta airport. So, what would I do for loyalty? I don't know about the second half of that question, but like, I don't see any problems with it other than they've never given me any rides. That's by far the biggest problem.
This quick Google on simplyflying.com says you can pay Delta $350 for a person transfer. They'll drive you from one plane to another, but it doesn't guarantee the Porsche. You might actually just be a golf cart or something else. So
okay.
I don't think JF has even have it. Like, my old boss flies more than anyone we know.
Yeah.
Works for Porsche a lot. Like, and I don't think he's ever been in one either.
No, I mean, it's
a very rare thing.
probably, well, first off, JF is United, not Delta.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so he wouldn't.
That's right, he wouldn't.
I mean, it's, I don't know, it's a gimmick, right? It's not like a real thing. It's not like an actual airport transfer that you can count on, but like, you know, if you're super status and it's a long way from one connecting flight to another and they show up at the thing and they take you in the Cayenne, that's all right. I'm not against that. Chris Limbright says Joseph Kaczynski has had 2 movies in a row where he's been able to capture what it feels like to fly in Top Gun Maverick and to drive in F1. Yeah, okay, whatever. What should he do next? Maybe something in the 90s that involves cigarette boats or something with hydroplane boats?
No.
Because
this movie would not have been made right now if Liberty Media and Drive to Survive weren't so successful.
Yeah.
So you need to build the masses' interest, and right now the masses' interest is definitely not in cigarette boats.
Yeah.
Or hydrofoils or anything like that. So you got to figure out, like, what are people paying attention to, and then they want to feel like they're in the seat of. And Top Gun, the first one, did a great job of that. And everyone wants to be a fighter pilot because it looks like fucking awesome.
Yeah, war propaganda is so cool. You know?
It was very effective. But like, would you not want to go Mach 2 and then, bank left? Or maybe I want that because of the movie.
I was like, look at all these brown people I could kill. These like ambiguous brown people. Like, they're not like they're Balkans, so they're not like white. But
who are
they
fighting in the first one? I forget. I know he gave right. So
straight up Russia.
Because the Cold War was freshly
Now
over.
they can't be so on the nose.
Well, that's why Top Gun 2, it was just faceless.
Ambiguous.
Helmets.
Not quite brown.
No, you couldn't see anybody. They were just wearing helmets,
but not quite white. Right? Like, it wasn't black people because it was snowing there. Right? So you have
right
to
on the
figure,
ground. There was a ground fight. I forgot. I was thinking about the air.
So it's got to be Balkans.
Right.
It's got to be something with a Stan in it.
Just Eastern Europe something.
Yeah. What's the difference, really? You're hitting them with a PS2 controller from the fucking couch there back in whatever it's called.
Oh,
the Pentagon
in Vegas.
Yeah, or wherever
the drone center is.
Is that where it is in Vegas?
That's one of them. Yeah.
That's where they fucking murder people from?
Well, it's where a lot of drone pilots are based. Is just outside Vegas. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Some in India too, right? It's cheaper.
I don't know.
They haven't done that yet.
I don't think so. That's more of the Amazon shopping thing.
Did I tell you about my neighbor who told me? He's like, bro, he got this new bookkeeper. He's fucking great. He's like, so cheap, gets it done, never complains. Oh yeah, where do you find them? Virtual Latinos. It's called virtuallatinos.com. It's a company that supplies you with remote workers like MBAs and CPAs and stuff.
Whoa.
Virtual Latinos, bro.
I feel like if there's something I don't want to save money on, it's my accountant. Like,
I think this one seems to be okay. I don't know. This guy's, I don't know.
All right.
He might be doing crimes. I don't think so.
It depends on how much money you're saving too. My accountant doesn't have to do that much, so I'm like, I'm happy to pay you
This guy owns like 40 apartment buildings.
Okay, so he's got a lot of numbers.
Yeah, it
being
seems
done.
like he needs a virtual Latino.
On the other hand,
urgently.
if he owns 40 apartment buildings, can't he afford to not outsource his work?
Yeah, but he, I think, saves money by outsourcing it to them. I don't.
Right.
My employees all work in this building.
I know.
I can't outsource.
Right. Okay.
I even had a conversation with somebody who was like, you should have an AI phone answering thing. I was like, but we have people. And they're like, but AI. I'm like, but there's humans that are here.
They're here.
They're actually here. Yeah.
Yeah. They have time.
I don't know. Joseph Kaczynski, what should he make a movie about? What would you like to see?
I mean, space is always cool, but I don't know if we need another space movie just yet. Like,
that would be
is
a good
gravity
use
cold
for
yet?
Bezos's penis rocket.
But he doesn't really go to space.
Sorry.
It's like
we wanted to use it, but
a little too low. The altitude's too low.
Yeah. I don't know, man. But Zach is totally right. You either need a war propaganda machine behind it, or he needs to tap into something that's already going.
Yeah.
What else is there? What else is that?
Well, I mean, like, what's the show? Live Golf.
FPV drone.
Golf has their own Drive to Survive now.
Golf.
Oh, it's called like Swing.
Full swing.
Full Swing.
Full swing.
So maybe they'll have to do that, and then they'll make a golf movie. We haven't had a serious golf movie in a while, have we?
Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out.
Right. That'll hold up,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
It'll be great.
So maybe they'll make a golf movie and really put you, on the green. I don't know. That wouldn't be a good use of his skills. Oh, you know what they'll do? MotoGP. That's what they'll do. I'm going to call it now.
Motorcycles.
Because Liberty Media just
Isle
bought
of Man,
MotoGP.
Isle of Man.
Oh,
Isle of
that
Man
would be
would
sick.
be a better movie than
That's true.
MotoGP.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially, and then what they have to
Joseph,
do,
if you're
someone,
listening.
someone's got to die making it, and then it becomes a whole, thing.
Oh, I hope not.
But that's just what happens. I mean, film
yeah.
a TT, someone's going to die making it.
That's true. I thought, yeah. There's
Right.
depends on if they film it during the event or if they just film it aside from the event. So it's a gnarly thing. That's a good call. I bet they do.
Isle of Man.
I bet they do. MotoGP gets the interest, and then they go, "What if we make an Isle of Man movie?"
Well, that's if they make the movie, right? If we follow the formula, they need a new rider for their MotoGP team, but they go to like Dakar and they go to like the TT to get the guy.
Find the guy
that's-
at the TT.
right? And that's where they find who's
Michael
going to play the
Dunlop,
guy?
one of those people.
Michael Fassbender, like
He's too old to
the
be
guy
the new
from
person.
the guy in The Gentleman,
I haven't watched that show. Heard it's
Jacob
good.
Elordi. He's very hot right now.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
But motorcycles, it seems like probably a good one.
Yeah,
Because everybody wants to be on a bike, even if they don't admit it.
it's true.
Right?
Yeah, you feel like a superhero. I regret buying a motorcycle. I was thinking about that on my camping trip because like maybe my body wouldn't be fucked up, but it still makes you feel like a superhero when you ride around.
What if you regret buying a motorcycle when you were younger, but like got one now? Do you think you'd approach it differently, or do you think it would be just the same?
Oh, if I never got one younger and then...
But you got one now.
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm sure I would approach it. Well, yeah, when I was 25, I thought I was never going to fall down because I was the careful one of the group.
Yeah,
Sure
yeah.
wasn't. I was the careful one of the group.
Yeah, the careful one. But it's a sliding scale.
It was a sliding,
Yeah.
indeed. It was sliding, indeed, my friend. Yeah, I think I'd be more careful, but who knows?
That last question. That doesn't make any sense.
It
doesn't. 'Cause we want to do all the questions, but every once in a while, it
Help me
comes up
choose
and goes,
between four very different classes
Listen,
of car.
that one's not gonna help there. We love you guys. Thanks very much for playing along with us today. We very much appreciate you. Go check out all of our videos in all of the places. But most importantly, if you're in Dallas and or Houston or both, hit the link in the description of this podcast to get tickets to our live show at the end of July. Meet us and hang out for some drinks and some podcasting and some Christian James Hand music breakdowns, which is what I'm really going there for. Thanks, everybody.
You're bringing him just so you
Yeah.
can watch the show.
Yes. We'll see you later. Bye.